Hey, it's Dr. Tracy Kiernan, and in this video series, I've developed 5 exercises for pregnant moms. So if you are pregnant, you should be doing these exercises every single day of your pregnant life. So my story is I have 2 young children and had pretty easy pregnancies with both of them, but my labor and delivery was horribly hard. And if someone would have gone through these exercises with me, I would have done anything they said to ensure that that process would have gone easier. Now, we never know how your journey is going to end up, but if you could do something that was going to help the process along, ensure proper baby positioning, and help to open up the pelvis and loosen the muscles and ligaments, I would encourage you to do that. It's going to make everything better. So in this series, we're going to go through 5 exercises. We're going to start with 2 on the floor and 3 standing to help to mobilize your pelvis, minimize uterine constraint, and just help you be stronger for labor and delivery. So we're going to start with the floor exercises. So the first exercise I'm going to have Lindsay do is called a pelvic rock. And you'll notice that this exercise takes place on all 4s, on her hands and her knees. And this is a position you want to get into often when you're pregnant. So I would encourage you to scrub your floor on your hands and knees. If you already have children, to get down on the floor and crawl around with them. If you don't, it's hard to find a reason to get down on the floor, so these exercises are a perfect way to do it. So a pelvic rock, you'll notice that her hips are just about, her knees are hip width apart. I'd like you to go just a touch wider than that, Lindsay. Very good. And then her wrists are right under her shoulders. If you have wrist problems, you could also go onto your fists, just like so. But she's going to start moving into a figure 8, or excuse me, a pelvic rock pattern. So you're going to first tuck the pelvis under like a scared cat. Some of you, if you've done any yoga type of exercises, and she's going to hold this for about 5 seconds. And then she's going to arch the pelvis in the lower back, moving the pelvis back toward the wall. And you're going to hold that for about 5 seconds. And then she's going to go back into the scared cat position, and you'll feel a nice stretch as you're doing these exercises. Hold for about 5 seconds, and then go back into the next position. If you're doing these for the first time, and then you can go just through that movement, you need to take it very slow. If you have any low back problems, you need to make sure that you use caution on that. But you should do approximately 100 reps of these per day, every day that you're pregnant. The sooner you can start these in the first trimester, even though it won't feel like it's necessary at that time, the better, because you'll be developing muscle memory. Okay, very good. Okay, the next one we're going to do, she's going to go into a neutral position, is called a floor figure 8 pattern. And I want to tell you about a figure 8 pattern that it doesn't matter which way you choose to go first. It really is going to be dependent upon handedness and who you are, of which way feels more comfortable. So you just do whatever feels more comfortable with your body. The purpose of these exercises is movement, stretching, and openness. So we're going to start into really just moving this pelvis into a figure 8 pattern, which is going to be sideways and horizontal with the floor. Good, and then the other way. Excellent. So the muscles of the pelvis are going to be opening, they're going to be creating space, but it's also going to help to minimize uterine constraint. So that's going to help create a good position for the baby. So that's a really important thing to be thinking about when you're getting closer to labor and delivery. Very, very good. So just continue to move into that position and into the fluid movement of the figure 8s. I always tell my pregnant moms that I take care of, make sure that you're avoiding the couch. You should be standing on an exercise ball, moving, or lying flat. So really avoid the couch position. One of the #1 causes of improper baby positioning in the uterus because of uterine constraint can be because of the position that you're holding on a couch for a sustained posture and for a long time. Very good. So we just finished the 2 floor exercises, the pelvic rock and the floor figure 8. Be sure that you have a yoga mat or a pillow under your knees to make sure that these exercises are as comfortable as possible for you. So now I'm going to take you through 3 standing exercises. And these are ones you can do anytime, any place. Don't worry about what you look like, it doesn't matter. We just need to make sure that we keep your pelvis open and the muscles loose, and also prepare your body for pushing this baby out. So the first exercise we're going to do is a squat. And different than a squat that you'll do at a gym, a squat here that we're going to do, you want to focus on openness. And you also want to condition the quadriceps, so if you do have a longer labor, or even when you're in a pushing position, that you're strengthened to do that. So the first thing you're going to do when you go into a squat position is a couple things. You want to make sure that your feet are just a little wider than shoulder width apart. And when you go into a squat position, you want to ensure that your knees do not come over your toes. So your pelvis will rock back, just like so, and then come on down. I always encourage my moms to have a support here, a chair. A really easy one when I was pregnant was just to use the back of the couch, which has a lot of weight and stability instead of a chair that maybe is a little bit more flimsy. So you're gonna go on down. Good, and come back up. And you'll just go through these movements very slow. I want to encourage you to do 20 or 30 squats every single day. And that is beautiful positioning. You can see that she has a nice curve and arch in her back, which is supporting the natural curves in her spine and not creating stress on the lower back and the pelvis. And she's strengthening your quadriceps, keeping the head and chest up and back, which is really important. Now, when you're through with doing your squats, I want you to end those by just hanging out in a squat position for a while, which is, again, the feet shoulder width apart, a little wider than that. The toes can be pointing out if that's more comfortable for you, and just hanging out in that squat position. And you can move side to side, rock the pelvis some, really listen to your body and find areas of tightness that you need to work through. So for Lindsay, she's working through the one side a little bit more than the other. It's really important for you to listen to your body and let your body gauge and guide your movements. Very good. And just come right back up to that position. Always make sure that you have something stable to guide your body. For her, she is a week away from delivery, and so the fact that you're able to do those movements so well and so easily is important and great. The next one we're going to do is a lunge. So I'm going to move a step stool for her because she is so far along. We want to minimize the amount of step that she's having to do, and we'll have the chair here for support as well. But she'll have movement because of the belly. So if you do have a larger belly or you're carrying multiples, you'll need to make sure that the knee goes out to the side a little bit more instead of straight up, because you'll have some impingement with the belly. So you'll have one knee up, you're going to keep the back leg straight, and you want to focus on just moving toward the bent leg to stretch out the inner thigh, the front of the thigh, and the pelvic muscles around that. Very good. And as you go through a lunge, just continue to move through different movements. So you'll notice again that she moved her toe out. She's stretching different muscles by going through this motion, and let your body guide you. You're going to notice that you're going to be tighter on one side more than the other, and that is your body's way of telling you to pay attention to that spot and spend a little extra time there. Okay, and then you can switch sides. Always make sure that you're evening out your body. We want to focus on balance and positioning. Good. You can notice this one, she is still able to go straight through the knee. She's getting a great stretch on the back side of the leg here. And when she moves to the side, getting more of a stretch on the inner thigh. Okay, so that is the lunge, and 20 to 30 repetitions on each side. You can also go slower and go through movement. She could also do that on the floor. So if we were to move this aside, if the belly was cumbersome and in the way, you could just move one leg forward. Good, and that one bent and the back one straight, and move through. And remember to keep the toe, the knee not from, so you want to move this foot a touch forward to protect the knee, particularly in your later stages of pregnancy where there's lots of relaxin flowing through your body. Relaxin is the hormone that helps your pelvis to open, but it's not selective to the pelvis, it goes to all the joints, so you need to be cautious about that. Very, very good. Okay, and the last standing exercise that we're going to do is called the standing figure 8, and you may want something to hold on to. I think with Lindsay, she feels comfortable being able to do that without anything to support her. So you're going to be facing this way, and then knees bent, shoulder width apart, and moving the pelvis into a figure 8 position, really focusing on the movement of the pelvis. Very good. One of the things we say is to just really find your inner belly dancer with this movement, because it really just moves the pelvis in a way that helps to open up the muscles in here. So as you're doing that, again, one way is going to feel more comfortable direction-wise than the other, and that's okay. It just depends on if you're left or right-handed. You just do, as long as you're moving, it doesn't matter which way you're moving. And always make sure to support your lower back and your pelvis. That's going to be really important to keep you that strong and stable moving into labor and delivery. Very good. If you are a pregnant mom, I hope that you will implement these exercises into your daily life. You can do them anywhere. I've been known to do them on the floor in my office and also standing in line at the grocery store. Please don't worry about what people think of you. They think that you're beautiful. You're carrying a baby inside of you. Do these 5 exercises: the pelvic rock on the floor figure 8, the squat, the lunge, and the standing figure 8, and you will find ease in your pregnancy and with labor and delivery. I hope everything goes well for you.